Hi, I'm Diana Russell, and I'm with Real Estate Utah, and I'm talking today with Lawrence Law at Vantage Credit Alliance, and we're talking about credit repair. We're finding that with the meltdown of the mortgage loan industry and with the tightening up of credit, that a lot of people who, through no fault of their own, are no longer able to purchase homes or get credit or do the things that they need to go on with their life. So, Lawrence, tell me all about what you're doing and how you're able to help people.
Okay, well, what we do is we repair credit. I mean, that's our expertise. We have an affiliation with some attorneys who, through 24 years of experience with credit law, can repair credit. Now, we're talking about anything on a credit report. We're not talking just about little lates or things that people would normally be able to dispute and get off themselves. We're talking about the hard stuff. We're talking about bankruptcies, foreclosures, judgments, liens, inquiries, all of those things that will actually impact the credit score quite dramatically. And by getting those items removed, we can increase a credit score on average 127 points in 2 to 6 months.
Wow. That's amazing.
Now, the other thing that we do is we teach people how to manage their credit, because if they would close an account, like many mortgage loan officers will tell them they've got too much credit, and so you've got to close an account. Well, that's just bunk, and it will cost you up to 100, 120 points if you do that, if it has a lot of history on it. So we teach people how to manage their credit and what mistakes they can make and what mistakes that they need to avoid. And by doing this, they can increase their credit scores another 20 to 40 points very, very quickly, in as little as 30 days.
Now, do they have to do all of the work themselves? I know that when I tried to remove one of those items on my credit report, it was long, tedious, boring, and when I tried to write to all of the 3 bureaus, a lot of the information didn't come back right, and it was faulty, and it was awful, and I hated it, and I didn't really want to do it at all.
Okay. A lot of people do try and dispute their own items that are negative on their accounts. We actually advise people not to dispute online at all, period, because it's absolutely guaranteed that it won't work. Mm-hmm. So, but if people want to actually get their credit scores improved and negatives removed off of the credit report, then they're going to need to be working with somebody who has experience and knows what they're doing. Quite frankly, that's very, very few people across the United States actually know what they're doing when they're talking about removing negatives off of a credit report. Mm-hmm. We're talking about attorneys who have experience, who actually study the credit laws, who actually study the court proceedings with the credit bureaus to know exactly what's going to work and what isn't going to work. And they need to keep up on it on a regular basis. These are what our attorneys do. Average 127 point increase in just 2 to 6 months. You're talking about being able to resolve a lot of problems and issues that an individual like you could not possibly touch, because when you have yourself, when you send in a dispute letter to the credit bureaus, or an attorney send in a dispute letter to the credit bureaus, which one are they going to take real careful look at?
They're going to ignore mine, and they're going to really take the attorney's letter very seriously.
That's exactly right. Now, there's lots of credit repair companies out there. In fact, a lot of them are scams. You have to be careful in what you do. So if you know that there's, in fact, what we teach is comparing apples with apples. What are you looking for in a credit repair company? Who is actually going to help you? Because you can make one mistake, such as closing an account with a lot of history in it, and it'll cost you 100 points. Put you right out of being able to do anything with your credit. And it's designed this way so that people get hurt, and it's not a fair scoring system at all. But by teaching people how to manage their credit, removing the negatives off of their credit score, they're able to have the scores that they need, and very quickly. We're talking about 2 to 6 months, they can have a credit score in the mid-700s and get the best interest rates as well as the best insurance rates. Both of those items are very critical because they cost you a lot of points and a lot of money because you're putting out a lot of extra money that you wouldn't normally need to if you had good credit scores. But we're talking about insurance rates doubling and tripling.
Oh, yes.
And we're talking about interest rates that can be on mortgages in the 9%, or on credit cards 24, 29, 33%. And so by applying those principles, by working the system the way that it works, we average a 127-point increase in 2 to 6 months.
Wow, that's amazing.
And by teaching you how to manage your scores and the credit that you have right now, you can gain an extra 20, 40 points on top of that.
Okay.
So we're talking about very quickly being ready to get into any loan that you want as long as you can afford it.
Okay. Now I know this service costs money because this is how you're in business. And
we offer a free credit analysis. Just let us know that you're interested and we'll make arrangements with you and take care of it. We'll show you where the problems are. And most people don't understand what the problems are on their credit report. So it's an education, and
I
it's
know.
great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you again.
Thank you.